This is a Sales Geek Academia to Business Translation production. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into, a topic that might genuinely surprise you, especially if you lead a sales team. It's the humble goal. You probably think goals are, universally accepted as the absolute bedrock of effective coaching, right? Essential, non-negotiable even.
I think so.
Well, prepare for a bit of a plot twist. In some academic circles, the very idea of setting goals in coaching has actually earned, a bad reputation.
It's really true. It sounds counterintuitive, but yeah. Many coaches argue that just setting goals is, too linear, that it sort of constricts conversations,
Right.
Or worse, that it leads to what some critics just dismiss as lazy join-the-dots mechanistic coaching.
Mechanistic coaching, okay.
Yeah, the claim is it forces you to focus on easily measurable stuff, but maybe unimportant issues instead of, the deeper human elements.
So they're almost avoiding the specifics.
Exactly. Some even avoid the word goal entirely. They'll use softer terms like clarifying intentions or maybe charting a course. It's a fascinating and actually pretty widespread disconnect between the theory out there and what happens in practice.
Absolutely. And this is where it gets really interesting for you, the sales leader listening right now. Our mission in this deep dive is to bridge that exact gap. We're taking a deep dive into a really insightful academic paper by Anthony M. Grant, and he robustly argues against this kind of anti-goal sentiment.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah.
The paper proposes that sophisticated goal theory actually has so much to offer coaching. It even suggests that a truly goal-focused approach is, in the end, more effective than just having a general supportive relationship.
More effective.
Wow. So what you'll gain today isn't just, academic knowledge filed away somewhere. We're translating this into a powerful, actionable framework. You'll walk away with a more sophisticated understanding of goals, definitely. But also how to connect them directly to the unique challenges, the opportunities within your sales context. And, maybe most importantly, discover insights you can use literally straight away to empower your sales teams, elevate their performance, and maybe even significantly boost their well-being.
Okay, let's get into this surprising truth about goals in coaching then. You might assume, given how central goals seem to be, that there'd be mountains of research directly linking them to executive coaching.
Logically, yes.
But the contradiction is pretty stark. As of 2012, the paper notes there were over 59,530 psychological citations on goals.
That's a huge number.
Huge! Yet, remarkably few, only about 30, directly applied this massive body of knowledge specifically to the coaching field.
30 out of nearly 60,000.
It's a massive academic disconnect, isn't it? Almost like there's this secret weapon just sitting there waiting to be discovered by practitioners.
And what's fascinating here is why that disconnect might exist. A lot of coaches, maybe unconsciously, equate goals only with the SMART acronym. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-framed.
Right, SMART goals. Everyone knows those.
Everyone knows them. And look, SMART is useful. It's a good mnemonic, a memory aid, nothing more, really. But the paper argues that without a deeper, more nuanced understanding, just relying on SMART can actually lead to ill-informed decision-making.
Okay.
And even create mythologies about goals. This kind of superficial, checklist-driven approach is exactly why some critics might dismiss goal setting as lazy coaching.
I see the connection now.
Yeah, it can effectively stifle the development of a more sophisticated understanding of what goals truly are deep down.
So if SMART isn't the whole story, what are goals really, beyond just a simple checklist?
Well, the paper points to a great definition from Austin and Vancouver back in '96. It's simple, but powerful. Goals are internal representations of desired states or outcomes.
Internal representations. Okay, break that down.
Right. So it's powerful because it shows goals aren't just about what you want to do. They involve cognition, like a mental picture, a vivid blueprint of that future state you want.
Like visualizing the win.
Exactly. They also affect the desire, the emotional satisfaction, that buzz you get thinking about achieving it. And finally, they involve behavior. That internal representation becomes this powerful source of motivation that actually drives action.
So it's thought, feeling, and action.
Precisely. Think of it like your sales rep's internal GPS. They visualize closing that big deal, they feel the success coming, and that internal image then drives every call, every email, every strategic move they make.
That makes a lot of sense.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes, abundantly clear. Regardless of how you phrase it, all coaching is fundamentally goal-focused.
Even if you call it charting a course.
Even then, Whether it's explicitly stated or just implicitly understood, coaching is about helping individuals regulate and direct their interpersonal and interpersonal resources.
Okay, resources meaning?
Meaning their inner drive, their thoughts, emotions, skills, and also leveraging their team relationships, their networks, all to create purposeful and positive change.
Mm-hmm. So even when a sales leader helps a rep chart a course for their career, they're still engaging in goal-directed behavior. We're helping them move towards a desired future state. Whether they call it a goal or not, it is one.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah. So for you, the sales leader listening, let's translate this theory into practice. The core of effective goal-directed coaching, then, lies in understanding and facilitating what the paper calls the self-regulation cycle.
Exactly. Think of it like a continuous feedback loop. Or maybe like a personal training session for your sales rep's performance. It's how they learn to manage their own performance effectively. It starts with you helping them, step one, identify that issue.
Okay.
Maybe a salesperson consistently missing their quota. That's the starting point.
Got it. Simple enough. So from there, step two, you set a goal. And this isn't just a vague wish, right? It's a specific desired outcome. Precisely. Like increasing conversion rates by, say, 10%. It's what you're training for.
Okay, specific target. Then step three.
Then comes developing an action plan. And this isn't just a general idea either. It's the detailed workout routine. For a salesperson, this might mean things like improving their discovery call scripts or dedicating specific time slots to role-playing with a peer, or maybe implementing very targeted prospecting strategies for a specific client segment. Real detail.
Right, the actual how-to, concrete steps.
Exactly. After the plan is in place, step four, the salesperson acts. They execute that plan, they do the workout.
Makes sense.
Then your role as a leader shifts slightly. Step five is monitoring progress. You're tracking their reps, their sets, their form, using the workout analogy.
So for sales, that's tracking key metrics. Call volumes, demos booked, actual conversion rates.
Spot on. You need that data. And crucially, step six, you then evaluate. You compare the actual performance to the goal that was set back in step two. Is the conversion rate actually improving? Are they hitting their call targets? This feedback is absolutely essential.
Because it tells you what's working.
Exactly. Tells them and you what's working and what's not. Which leads to the final step, step seven. Based on that evaluation, you either change what's not working or do more of what works.
Okay, so it's a cycle, not a straight line.
Absolutely. It's iterative,
Yeah.
like continuously fine-tuning a sales funnel or adjusting your workout based on results. Your role as a sales leader is really to facilitate your team members' movement through this cycle again and again, helping them continuously enhance their own self-regulatory skills.
So you're teaching them how to fish, essentially.
In a way, yes. It's how they build confidence and develop their ability to adapt and excel more independently over time.
Okay, that cycle makes sense. But you mentioned earlier that goals aren't all the same.
Right. And this brings us to another really crucial point from the paper. Goals are not monolithic. They're not all created equal. The paper highlights there are actually over 20 different types of goals identified in the research.
20. Wow.
Yeah. And understanding these different types is crucial for effective coaching, especially in sales. So if goals aren't just one thing, what are some of these different lenses we can use? Let's maybe break down a few critical distinctions that are really relevant for sales leaders.
Okay, let's do it. Where do we start?
First, let's consider the time horizon. We have distal versus proximal goals.
Distal, like distant.
Exactly. Distal goals are your long-term vision. Think big picture. Maybe your sales team becoming the undisputed market leader in enterprise SaaS in, say, 3 years. That's the mountain peak you're aiming for.
Okay, the big dream. Yep.
Proximal goals, on the other hand, are the shorter-term, more detailed action steps. They're the specific trail markers on the path of that peak.
So like complete 20 cold calls this week.
Perfect example. Or improve the demo to close ratio by 5% next quarter. Concrete, near-term steps.
And how does this apply in sales coaching?
Well, the research shows that combining both, having that inspiring long-term vision supported by clear, actionable short-term steps, leads to enhanced strategy development and better long-term performance. You need the big why, the distal goal, to motivate, but you need the proximal goals, the how, to actually get you there consistently.
Okay, distal and proximal. Got it. What's next?
Next, let's think about the level of specificity. Here we have outcome goals versus abstract goals.
Outcome goals sound pretty straightforward.
They are. They're your desired results, plain and simple. like increase Q3 sales by 15%.
Mm-hmm.
And these are incredibly effective, but usually for individuals who are already committed, capable, and know pretty much what they need to do.
So not always the best starting point.
Not always. Sometimes a rep just isn't ready for that hard number pressure. That's where abstract or vague goals come in. Something like develop a stronger regional sales presence. It's less threatening.
Yeah, less intimidating.
And it's more useful for those who are maybe in a deliberative mindset, still exploring possibilities, or maybe quite early in a change process.
So as a sales leader, you need that flexibility.
You absolutely do. You need the judgment call to know when to push for those hard numbers versus when to help a rep conceptualize a broader improvement that feels less daunting initially. Give them space to figure out the how before nailing down the what too tightly.
Makes sense. Okay, what other types?
Then there's the direction of focus. This one's critical. Approach versus avoidance goals.
Approach versus avoidance.
Avoidance goals are framed negatively as moving away from something undesirable, like stop missing quota or be less stressed about sales targets.
I can see how that might feel negative.
It often is. And the research shows they're generally less effective. Why? Because they don't provide a clear direction for action. What do you do to stop missing quota? It's vague. Plus, they're actually associated with lower well-being, even depression sometimes. It's like trying to drive by only looking in the rearview mirror.
Not very helpful. So approach goals are the opposite.
Exactly. Approach goals mean moving towards a specific, desirable state. Things like achieve 110% of quota or enjoy a fulfilling work-life balance by optimizing my prospecting time. See the difference?
Yeah, much more positive and action-oriented.
Absolutely. And this is such a critical distinction for sales coaching. You constantly want to help your reps reframe negatives into positives. So instead of thinking, don't lose that deal, you reframe it to an approach goal. Secure that deal by emphasizing these specific benefits and addressing the client's key concern proactively.
It changes the whole mindset, doesn't it?
Completely. From fear and reaction to proactive pursuit and strategy. Huge difference in motivation and effectiveness.
Wow. Okay, what else? You said over 20 types.
Yeah, we won't cover all 20. But another crucial pair for sales are performance versus learning goals.
Performance versus learning? Interesting.
Performance goals focus on, well, performance. Task execution, competition, external evaluation. The classic example is be the top salesperson this month.
That sounds like standard sales motivation.
It is, and it can be powerful, no doubt. But here's the surprising truth from the research. Performance goals can actually impede performance on complex tasks.
Really? How?
Especially for less skilled individuals. If someone's still learning the ropes, focusing only on the end result, hit the number, can create anxiety and pressure that hinders their learning and actual execution. Worse, an overemphasis on pure performance goals can sometimes foster unhealthy internal competition. Think about reps hoarding information or being reluctant to cooperate and help teammates because they're only focused on their individual rank.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that happening. So learning goals are different.
Very different. Learning goals, sometimes called mastery goals, focus on developing competence and mastering a skill. So for a new sales rep, a learning goal might be learn how to conduct compelling discovery calls or master the new CRM features effectively.
Focus on the skill, not just the outcome.
Exactly. And the benefits are huge. Learning goals lead people to view challenges as positive opportunities to grow, not threats. They foster greater absorption of knowledge, enhance memory for new skills, and crucially, they tend to foster cooperation within teams because the focus is on collective improvement.
So when would you use which?
It's situational. For a brand new sales rep, that learning goal about discovery calls might be far more impactful long-term than just hammering them with close 5 deals this month. But even for experienced reps, if you're facing complex market shifts or introducing a new product, shifting the focus temporarily to a learning goal like master the positioning of our new AI solution could be far more beneficial than just pushing for the same old performance numbers in a new context.
Yeah, it's a really useful distinction. Okay, one more maybe.
Yeah, let's touch on complementary versus competing goals. As leaders, you need to be aware of this. Conflict happens when pursuing one goal actively interferes with achieving another.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think of a sales manager who genuinely wants more time coaching reps, a valuable goal. But they also feel intense pressure for more time for strategic planning and reporting up. Those two goals compete for the same limited resource time.
Ah, the classic manager's dilemma.
Exactly. They feel pulled in opposite directions, and often neither goal gets the attention it deserves. Or Consider a manager who says they want a hands-off leadership style. Maybe that's their ideal self-image. But they also face pressure that the sales force needs to sell more products now. If their default behavior under pressure is to micromanage,
Then those goals are in direct conflict.
precisely, their desire, hands-off, conflicts with their perceived need or habit, micromanage for results. So your role as a senior leader, coaching that manager, is to help them see that conflict and find congruence, that sweet spot where goals can actually support each other or at least coexist without constant friction. The paper stresses that finding this congruence is really important in facilitating goal attainment and well-being.
Helping them align those competing demands, that's a big part of leadership coaching.
A huge part.
Okay, this is already much deeper than just SMART goals. Let's maybe dive even deeper now into the psychology of sales success, because you hinted that's where the real breakthroughs happen.
Absolutely, because it's not always about the goals we consciously set. It's fascinating to consider unconscious goals.
Unconscious goals, like Freudian slips.
Yeah, not quite like that. But think about it. Many of our daily actions are driven by goals we don't consciously decide on minute by minute. Walking to the store involves countless tiny, unconscious motor goals. In sales, imagine a rep who consistently struggles with follow-up. They know it's crucial. They might even set a conscious goal to do it, but they just don't.
Yeah, we've all seen that.
If you dig deeper, you might uncover an unconscious avoidance goal operating beneath the surface. Maybe a deep-seated, unacknowledged fear of rejection is powerfully driving them away from making those follow-up calls, even if they aren't fully aware that's the root cause.
Wow. So goal theory helps us see those hidden drivers.
Exactly. It helps sales leaders understand that reps might be driven by these implicit, often unhelpful goals. And more importantly, it gives you a framework for how to gently uncover and help reframe them for purposeful, positive change.
That leads nicely into another concept you mentioned, self-concordant goals. What's that about?
This is where it gets really powerful for motivation. Self-concordant goals are goals that are aligned with an individual's intrinsic interests, their core motivations, their personal values.
Intrinsic meaning coming from within.
Yes. It's about a goal being perceived as determined by one's authentic self, rather than just being imposed by external forces like, well, a demanding quota or pressure from the boss.
So how does a sales leader foster that? Sales targets often feel external.
That's the art of it. You help your sales reps connect their sales targets, which can feel external to their deeper personal values. Maybe hitting that target means earning more to provide better opportunities for their family. That connects to a core value. Or maybe mastering a difficult negotiation skill needed to hit the target aligns with their personal value of career growth and competence.
Right.
Or perhaps helping clients solve genuine problems through your product connects with their intrinsic desire to be helpful or make a difference. When a goal resonates deep within like that, the effort required doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like purpose.
That sounds much more sustainable.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
The paper outlines 4 factors for achieving this alignment. First, help them identify authentic desires, not just fleeting whims or shoulds.
Okay.
Second, help them distinguish their personal interests from others' expectations. What do they truly want? Not just what does management or the company want.
Tricky, but important.
Very. Third, encourage them to express goals that are genuinely aligned with their internal needs and values. And fourth, help them recognize when a goal isn't self-concordant, when it feels imposed or off, and actively help them reframe it into something that is.
That's quite sophisticated coaching.
It is, but the payoff in terms of engagement and persistence is massive. And what's fascinating here is how this links directly to goal hierarchies and the problem of goal neglect.
Goal hierarchies, like a pyramid.
Exactly like a pyramid.
Yeah.
Think of your core values as being at the top. These are higher order abstract goals. Things like to be an outstanding sales leader or to build lasting, trusting client relationships.
The big why.
The big why. These then cascade down to more specific goals, maybe mid-level goals like increase team profit by 25% or achieve 95% client retention.
Okay.
And those then cascade down further to daily or weekly action steps, the base of the pyramid, things like conduct 5 discovery calls today or document all billing hours accurately.
Makes sense. So what's goal neglect?
Goal neglect is what happens when those higher order, truly meaningful values at the top of the pyramid get forgotten or disregarded. Attention shifts too heavily, sometimes exclusively, onto those lower level, often inherently less satisfying tasks at the bottom.
Like getting lost in the weeds.
Precisely. Imagine that sales leader who entered the profession genuinely wanting to be an outstanding leader and ensure client success. Those are their high-level values. But then they get completely caught up in the relentless daily grind of just revenue building or documenting billing hours, day in, day out.
They lose sight of the bigger picture.
They lose sight of their why. And according to the theory, this can easily lead to goal dissatisfaction and disengagement. They burn out, not necessarily because they're not working hard, but because the work feels disconnected from what truly matters to them. They've neglected their core goals.
Wow, that explains a lot about burnout, potentially.
It really does. So what does this mean for you as a leader? It means you have a crucial role in helping your reps reconnect with their higher order values. Help them redefine their day-to-day goals and tasks in ways that link back up to that bigger purpose. Remind them why they do what they do beyond just the immediate task or target.
So it's about realigning their work with their meaning.
Exactly. That realignment can reignite their passion, boost their resilience, and prevent that kind of values-driven burnout.
Okay, this is powerful stuff. Let's try and pull this all together now into maybe an integrated model for actually coaching your sales team for change using these ideas.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So the overall coaching process, as the paper frames it, is driven by needs, both the individual's needs and the organization's needs. And these needs lead to goal selection. But importantly, this process is complex, often convoluted, as the paper says, because people aren't simple machines, right? Their motivations, fears, values, it's all mixed together.
Right, it's messy.
It can be. And a key aspect for you as sales leaders is understanding your reps' readiness to change. People don't just flip a switch. The paper references the trans-theoretical model, which basically describes stages of readiness. Think of it like a spectrum of commitment to change.
Okay, what are the stages?
Well, first you have pre-contemplation. Here, the rep has no real intention to change. Maybe they don't even see an issue with their performance or approach.
Denial, maybe? Or just unaware?
Could be either. Your role here isn't to push goals on them. It's to gently raise awareness. Maybe provide objective data on performance gaps, share some qualitative feedback, but do it without judgment. Just plant a seed.
Okay, what's next?
Next is contemplation. Now they're considering change, thinking about it, but they're ambivalent. They see pros and cons to changing and to staying the same.
The should I or shouldn't I phase.
Exactly. Your role here is crucial. Help them explore that ambivalence. Don't rush them into setting specific goals yet. Help them weigh the pros and cons for themselves. Facilitate their thinking.
So patience is key there.
Very much so. Then comes preparation. Here, there's increased commitment. They're getting ready to make small changes, maybe experimenting a little.
Getting ready to jump.
Kind of. Your role now is to build on that commitment. Help them develop a clear vision, maybe using those more abstract goals we talked about. Set small, attainable action steps, proximal goals to build momentum. And definitely positively reinforce any progress they make.
Build confidence.
Yes. And finally, you have action and maintenance. They're actively engaging in the new behaviors, working the plan, and then trying to sustain that change over the long haul, making it the new normal.
Okay. And the coaching role here.
Here, you build on their past successes. You can start setting more stretching goals now. You help them strategize how to sustain the change, anticipate obstacles, and lock in the new habits.
So you adapt your coaching approach based on where they are in that readiness cycle.
Precisely. It's not one size fits all.
And beyond just knowing this theory, the leader's practical skill set is obviously crucial.
Absolutely. The paper emphasizes this. It's about your ability to actually do these things effectively, set effective goals collaboratively, facilitate realistic action planning, maximize that goal congruency and alignment with values we discussed, guide your team members through that self-regulation cycle consistently. And, of course, underlying all of it is bringing perceived value to the coaching relationship and developing a strong working alliance based on trust and respect. It's not just about the goals. The relationship still matters, but the goals give it direction.
Right, the common factors still play a role.
They do. And successful action planning, born from this process, does something important psychologically. It helps a rep move from that often paralyzing deliberative mindset where they're just endlessly weighing pros and cons of trying a new sales strategy.
Analysis paralysis.
Exactly. It moves them into an implementational mindset. This mindset is different. It's determined, focused, action-oriented, even biased towards expecting success. It's about getting into that, okay, let's do this mode.
And that builds confidence.
Massively. It fosters self-efficacy, their belief in their own ability to succeed, and builds resilience for when they inevitably hit bumps in the road. And don't forget the power of feedback within that self-regulation cycle. Monitoring and evaluating actions provides that vital information needed to modify goals and adjust actions. It keeps the process dynamic. And when goals are achieved, especially those aligned with intrinsic values, it leads to greater satisfaction and primes individuals to take on future challenges with more confidence. Success breeds success.
Okay, this is a comprehensive picture, but it brings us back to that really critical question you raised at the start. Does all this sophisticated goal theory really matter more than just building a good relationship? You've been told forever that trust and rapport are the bedrock of coaching, right?
Right, and they are essential. Let's be clear about that. But here's the real game changer, which Grant's 2012 research, mentioned in the paper, directly tested. While a supportive common factors relationship that trust, warmth, respect is absolutely crucial in therapy, the argument is that coaching is slightly different. Coaches, including sales leaders acting as coaches, are essentially employed by their clients or their teams to help make purposeful and positive change. There's an explicit agenda for progress.
Okay, so there's an expectation of results in coaching that might be different from therapy.
That's the idea. So Grant's study actually compared a coaching style heavily focused on these goal mechanisms we've discussed, with a style focused primarily on building those common factors, rapport, empathy, etc.
And what did they find?
Well, perhaps unsurprisingly, both styles correlated positively with coaching success, which they measured by goal attainment. So a good relationship helps, and focusing on goals helps.
Okay, so both matter.
Yes, but here's the profound finding. When they statistically controlled for the influence of the common factors, the goal-focused coaching style still remained significantly correlated with success.
Meaning goal focus had an effect above and beyond just the good relationship.
Exactly. However, when they did the analysis the other way around, controlling for the goal-focused activities, the common factors style was not significantly correlated with goal attainment on its own.
Whoa, okay, let that sink in. The relationship alone wasn't enough to predict goal achievement once you accounted for the goal-focused coaching.
That's what this specific study indicated. The implication is pretty stark.
So what does this mean for me as a sales leader? What's the takeaway?
It's transformative, potentially. Imagine building a fantastic, trusting relationship with one of your sales reps. That's great, it's necessary. But if you're not also consistently and skillfully leading them through this process of precise goal setting, action planning, self-regulation, linking to values, the profound measurable impact on their goal attainment, according to this research, simply might not be there to the same extent.
So the relationship is the foundation, but the goal mechanics are the engine driving change.
That's a great way to put it. While building rapport and trust with your team is absolutely essential. You can't coach effectively without, it appears to be your ability to lead with and facilitate goals in this sophisticated way that is the more potent evidence-backed driver of positive, purposeful change and actual goal attainment for your sales team.
That really flips the script on just being a supportive manager.
It adds a crucial layer of focused technique on top of that support.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. Let's try and distill this down now into, say, 3 really actionable takeaways for the sales leaders listening, things they can implement immediately.
Okay, let's nail these down.
Takeaway number 1, beyond SMART, foster deeper goal understanding. Don't just set SMART goals and think you're done. Actively coach your sales team on the different types of goals we discussed, like learning versus performance or approach versus avoidance. Talk about when each type is most effective. For instance, when focusing on skill development or tackling really complex sales challenges, maybe prioritize learning goals over pure outcome-based performance goals, at least initially. Help them grow. Don't just measure their output.
Excellent first point. Takeaway number 2. Align goals with core values through self-concordance and hierarchy. Make the time to work with your individual sales professionals to connect their sales targets and daily activities back to their personal higher-order values and intrinsic motivations. Remember the pyramid. Actively help them identify and reframe goals so they become more self-concordant. This isn't just nice to have. It's key to preventing that soul-crushing goal neglect and fostering much deeper engagement and ultimately long-term satisfaction and retention.
Love that. Connect the what's to the why. Okay, and the third takeaway.
Third, coach to readiness and facilitate self-regulation. Recognize that each salesperson is at a different readiness to change stage, from pre-contemplation right through to maintenance. You need to diagnose where they are. Then, adapt your coaching style accordingly. For those in pre-contemplation, focus on raising awareness with data, not pressure. For those in contemplation, explore their ambivalence rather than pushing for immediate action. And for all stages, consistently guide them through that self-regulation cycle we broke down. Plan, act, monitor, evaluate, and adjust. This isn't just about giving them goals. It's about actively teaching them the process of how to achieve any goal, building their self-efficacy and resilience along the way.
Fantastic. Deeper goal understanding, aligning with values, and coaching to readiness while teaching self-regulation. Powerful stuff.
It really shifts coaching from just managing performance to actively developing potential.
So let's leave our listeners with a final provocative thought to mull over.
How might consciously integrating these nuanced goal theories, moving beyond just SMART, not just improve the obvious sales performance metrics, but also profoundly enhance your sales team's long-term well-being, their job satisfaction, and their resilience in what we all know is a very demanding profession?
This has been another Sales Geek Academia to Business Translation production.